Hello, welcome, thanks for joining me. My name's Brian Pollard, aka F1 Pit Pass. Welcome to my channel. Today we're looking at buying, testing and using a used DJI Spark drone. I've owned multiple DJI Spark drones, some new, some used, some in need of repair and some irreparable. All great fun, and that's why I thoroughly recommend that you own or try a DJI Spark. No, this channel is not sponsored in any way. I just love the Spark. I've tried cheaper, lighter drones and they fill me with horror. You need a little bit of weight to battle against any conditions such as wind, gusts. That, coming from an engineering background, if it looks right and has a bit of weight about it, chances are it's engineeringly sound, and the DJI Spark fills that criteria. It just feels solid, a workhorse. So, buying a used Spark, full of pitfalls. What would you ask if you were looking on any of the auction sites or considering buying a used Spark? If you're going to be using it for any hobby photography, then you must consider that the gimbal needs to be in a workable condition. It looks strange when at rest and when you fire up the Spark, and it's prone to throwing up errors within the app if you were to suddenly move the Spark. So utilize this box that it comes in. Most times, what I'm saying is, if you keep the Spark on this box when handling it or moving it or launching it, you will eliminate a lot of these gimbal errors. If you were to move it and then you see an error, usually switching it off and switching it back on can clear that error. But get used to protecting the Spark from this error by handling it carefully Bear in mind you want to keep it roughly horizontal when you're carrying it. It doesn't like being powered on and just being set roughly. So a question you would ask a prospective seller: does the image transmission look okay? Is it as it should be? You notice I use the phrase image transmission. Don't be afraid to use exact terminology when questioning a prospective sale. You need to get used to these terms so you get straight answers to straight questions. Is the gimbal okay? Is the picture okay? Does the video image show up okay? In the past, I've bought Sparks that have askew gimbals, and this shows in the video image when you download it as a horizon which isn't level. Sometimes this doesn't matter. You can alter that in post-production. My chosen video editing software, PowerDirector 16, I can alter the horizon of any video. So yes, it makes the image slightly smaller when you alter the horizon and crop the image, but you can still achieve images which are fun to view and you can share on social media. So a tilted gimbal, it's not the end of the world. It means it's another task in post-production to sort it out, but if it enables you to buy a Spark that's the right price, or not own a Spark at all, then go for it. Other things to consider when buying a used Spark: batteries. All rechargeable batteries have a lifespan. Anybody that's owned rechargeable batteries and they don't give any care to the charging and discharging will find that the battery shortens its lifespan. And this is the same with the DJI Spark and lots of other tech devices. So you certainly need more than one battery to have fun with the DJI Spark. The flying time may well be 10 to 12 minutes, and good planning means you can launch, get the shot and return and land it well within that 10 to 12 minutes, but you may well want to take another shot without waiting for that first battery to charge up. So a second or third battery is going to be very useful so you can enjoy your day's aerial photography. Some batteries are better than others when you buy them second hand. I've purchased drones from auction sites that were refurbished or advertised as refurbished by companies, and when they arrived the battery was duff, and I ended up having to send the whole item back, drone and battery, all because the battery they sent wasn't any good. So think of it as the luck of the draw with batteries. Expect to pay round about £50 for another battery, a newish one, if not new. It all adds up. You certainly need more than one, as I said earlier. The more you have, the more fun you'll have. And you probably need a multiple battery charger from DJI. A multiple battery charger comes in handy for topping up. Get into the routine of, at the end of a day's flight, when you return to your computer, you're going to connect your Spark to your computer. Well, this is how I work. I take out the battery that's in the Spark, replace it with another one, put the used one on charge, and that serves twofold purpose. It means that I'm not going to lose any files on the Spark if a battery was to suddenly discharge while I'm downloading to the PC. So a freshly charged battery will mean you always get your files off the Spark successfully. And it's a good habit to get into, of charging your battery ready for the next time. And you may also want to charge your controller. Now the DJI Spark multiple battery charger also has USB ports, so you can charge the controller at the same time. The controller seems to last for ages, but it does no harm to have it fully charged when you're going out ready to fly. So that's checking the gimbal works, or being prepared to alter the horizon in post-production if it is askew. Other errors on the gimbal: you don't want it flicking up and down, which some faulty gimbals can. That's a definite no-no. That's going to spoil any video. I've even flown Sparks with the gimbal locked by inserting a piece of plasticine above the gimbal, pushing the camera up against the plasticine, locking it in position, checking the horizon on your phone, and when you're happy, take off and fly and get your photos and your videos. Now, you aren't going to be able to move that camera when it's in flight, but if you point it to the right angle that you want in anticipation before your flight, you will achieve that photo that you couldn't get in any other way. So you see how there's possibilities of using even what seems like an irreparable damaged gimbal as long as the image is transmitting to your phone or tablet, whatever your device you're flying it with, as long as the image is transmitting to that carefully and clearly, you're going to have fun with the Spark. And I would certainly say own one, enjoy it, and then think about buying new. Other things you might need, things like propellers, they're pretty obvious. If they're damaged, they're damaged. I've had a propeller come off at low height and the drone crashed. If that had been any higher, it might have damaged the drone irreparably. So buy decent propellers, fit them in the correct position. They come as pairs, and well, you'll get to see if you own one that if you were to put the wrong pair on the wrong arm, it just won't fly. There's paint marks and dots on the motors and propellers that'll guide you through this process of putting the right propeller on the right motor. So that's propellers, gimbal, batteries. The controller, it's pretty foolproof. Like all tech gear, it either works or it doesn't work. Tablets and phones, well, expensive smartphones are great for viewing the picture on sunny days. It's all to do with nits. Not the nits that the school nurse would check for back in my school day in your hair, no. The nits about the clarity of being able to view a picture on a smartphone or tablet screen in direct sunlight. I've settled on using a small tablet. That's an Apple iPad Mini 4. Now, that's not to say you can't use a phone. I've used iPhone 8, I've used iPad Pros with sun shields that I've invented and tripods to mount the controller and tablet on. So innovations and inventions, yes, there are things you can do to improve or enhance your flying enjoyment, but the DJI Spark is a simple drone, and it's also simple to have fun and enjoy it. I've never been one for advocating long distance flights. As I said earlier, I tend to scope out the photo I would like to achieve or the video I want to film, launch the Spark, capture the shot, and then land it and carry on with other things I was doing. One last point, I would always suggest you explore the possibility of hand landing or palm landing your Spark. You'll see it in all my videos. I consider the Spark as being fragile enough that I want to land it on my hand and nowhere else. It's a simple enough procedure. Once you slide your finger across the screen, it's going to land, and if your hand's beneath it, it'll land on your hand. If your palm is flat, there's no danger. I would advocate that you learn it as early as you can into owning the Spark, and then you've always got the satisfaction of knowing that you protected your camera and gimbal, and of course your Spark enjoyment for another day. So I encourage you to own a Spark, try it, fly it, maybe even use it to sell photos and videos as stock footage of landmarks or things in life. I can vouch that the Spark is good enough to sell as stock footage. A few of my clips are out there somewhere in adverts or on stock websites. So thanks for joining me. Join me again soon.